What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Last Stop Sports Talk. Today is Sunday, April 6th, 2025, and we got another positional rankings episode, Draft Brothers episode for you. And today we will be talking about defensive tackles here on episode 77. Kean Krupp, Carson Krupp, I'm Cody Krupp. So, like I said, we got our top 5 defensive tackles coming right at you, coming right down the pipe. We watched them all, ranked them all up like we always do. So, I say we dive right into it. What do you guys think?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Number 5, we got Walter Nolen out of Ole Miss. He is 6'4", 296 pounds with 32.5-inch arms. In 2024, he played 13 games. He had 48 total tackles, 25 solo, 10.9% pass rush win rate, 6.5 sacks, 14 tackles for loss, 35 pressures, 0 forced fumbles, but 2 fumble recoveries. Kean had him 8, Carson had him 4, and I had him up at my number 3. So, Walter Nolen is pretty... I love him because he's twitchy, quick, explosive. He's very quick off the snap, and he just explodes into contact. He wins with his athleticism and his very impressive play strength. He's just a overall good playmaker, and he seems to always be around the play. And if he is, you're dang right he's going to make a play on the ball. And he's got very good body control and pretty good range and closing speed, and just a good burst to make those very short area tackles down in the trenches.
Yeah, I feel like this guy is always moving forward. Like, he never slows down, and he's doing his hand moves, and he just continues running up on you, and he never loses speed, whether like to make a move or it's like in basketball, okay. Like sometimes people like stop to cross over.
Yeah.
Other people just like they can cross over and like spin move on the run. That's this guy. Like, he does all his hand moves and whatever he has to do as he's still pushing into you, so he doesn't lose any time getting to the quarterback.
Yeah, I'm going to catch a lot of shit on this one.
Yep.
I'm not a fan of Walter Nolen. I know he's projected to be a first-round pick, back half of the first round. I can see why people do like him, but I just don't, so that's it. No, I'm just kidding. I love his explosiveness. He literally leaps up out of his stance like a frog. He jumps off both feet, and it looks kind of dumb. But at the same time, I can't knock him for it because it is explosive what he's doing there.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know why you're doing that, but I guess whatever.
But if you think about it, it makes more sense.
I guess so.
Double the power.
Exactly. Why would I try to be explosive off of 1 foot whenever I know that I'm more explosive off of 2 feet?
Actually, that leads perfectly into my con, and that makes sense. I never even realized he was doing that.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. I'll go into cons now, since I had him lowest. I had quite a few. So I think that he is more of a speedy rusher, pass rusher. So I think that he kind of lacks some strength. Comparing him to other D tackles, it looks like he might have been playing at a lighter weight than 296. 296 is already like below 300 pounds, so it's like average, I guess, for today's, especially for a pass rushing D tackle. But I think he looked like he played at a lighter weight. He doesn't throw offensive linemen to the side. He struggles with double teams, and I don't think he's very creative with his pass rush move. Basically, he always pounces off the snap, then he tries to swim through the gap to get free. Whoops. Often gets caught up and slowed down on blocks, though. But if he does get free, he is very good in pursuit. But I just think it looks like he lacks a pass rush plan. And he profiles like a pass rusher more than a run stuffer. So in the run game, I don't know how much you're gonna get from him. I mean, you're probably gonna put him out there with some heavy like Jordan Davis or somebody like that, ideally. Yep. But and then on top of that, his speed and quickness are pretty darn good. But outside of that, like everything else that I saw, the athletic ability isn't crazy.
Sure. Yeah.
Like lateral ability and all that. Especially comparing it to other top defensive linemen in this class. I wasn't super impressed, and I thought that I was going to be because I like those pass rushing. Well, actually, with D tackles, I like the heavier guys. We'll get into that here soon. But I just didn't see too much creativity from a pass rushing specialist.
I totally agree. I also saw that he just looks out of control and non-methodical at times. And he may look out of control because he is jumping off 2 feet, so he's kind of, if they get in him first, he's off balance. And then, just non-methodical. Like, sometimes he's just pushing forward without really any plan or reason or thought to what he's trying to do. He's just going through the motions, our basketball coach would say.
Don't want that.
Nope.
Right. I agree with that. I think that all these things, though, all these cons we're talking about, I had him so high just because of all his, I guess everything I talked about. But a lot of stuff that you can't coach. I'll go right back to that. You can't coach a lot of this athletic ability, explosiveness, things of that nature. But like cons that I saw that I think can be worked on, like he's got short extension to keep like blockers away, so that kind of gets into him. But I think that can be coached. His hands aren't super consistent to me, which can be worked on. Not the most impressive like physical traits overall. Obviously, that can't be helped. So
Yeah.
But I just like you mentioned about his rush moves, I think, and I saw the same thing. I'd like to see him gain some more and refine some of his rush moves that he already has, instead of completely relying on his explosiveness and athleticism. But wrapping this up, I got Cody's motor meter coming back for this episode.
Step into the garage.
Yep, step into the garage, step into the shop. We'll talk about motors here. So he's got an impressive motor that just goes. This thing just goes. So he's got a muscle car big block. We're talking Ford Mustang 428 Cobra Jet. We're talking Chevy Camaro 396 or 454. We're talking the Dodge Charger 440. Very impressive, quick, powerful. No one can deny how great these engines are and how hard they run. But compared to today's engines and their power numbers, not super impressive. So we talked about comparing him to the other like people in the NFL or other people in this class. So like very, very impressive. But that's why I put that button there. Not the most crazy in the world, but you cannot deny the talent, power, explosiveness, reliability, just how hard that dog runs, you know?
Oh yeah, nowadays they're just classics. They're not so much performers anymore.
Exactly. I mean, you could get a 375 horsepower 396 Chevy in the day. You can get almost 400 horsepower 428 Cobra Jet. But you got stock Camaros nowadays making 500 horsepower. I mean, good giblets, mate. I don't know what to do. Like, we can't compare.
No. Yeah, that was a really good comp, actually. That was good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
doesn't
tried
have the
pretty hard.
power the other guys do. Yeah. Well done.
It's old school hard hitter.
Mechanic.
Mechanic. Moving into our number 4 consensus ranked defensive tackle, Tyleik Williams out of Ohio State. He's 6'3", 334 pounds with 32-inch arms. In 2024, he played 13 games, 46 total tackles, 16 solo. He had a 6.6% pass rush win rate, 2.5 sacks, 8 tackles for loss, 20 pressures, 0 forced fumbles, 0 fumble recoveries. Keaton had him 3, I had him 4, Carson had him 6. So Keaton, get us started.
Yeah. As I said, there's just something about the bigger D tackles that get me going.
Oh, yeah.
I loved T'Vondre Sweat last year. Obviously, this is not close to the level of T'Vondre Sweat, but he had a really darn good rookie season alongside Jonathan Simmons. But all of the stats that we talk about, or that we just showed on the graphic, they're all basically, for the most part, they are pass rushing stats. And Tyleik Williams is not a pass rusher. He's a fat guy. Fat guy. 334 pounds, run stuffing machine. There is one move that he does sometimes, if he can line you up, if he has the quickness to line you up, because sometimes the offensive lineman moves and he can't do it. But he has a great bull rush if he lines them up and actually can get into it. But what I love most about him is that this guy is an insanely great anchor and run support. You can send 1 or 2 blockers at him. He's likely not going to leave that spot unless he's mirroring the ball carrier laterally. He'll shuffle behind the offensive line to kind of keep the ball carrier in front of him. But if he doesn't want to move, he's not going to move.
Right. Yeah.
6'3", 334. That's a pretty tough mountain to move. But also, whenever he gets out in open space, I love to watch this guy run.
So good.
He's pretty nimble in open space for his size. I'll say it, for his size.
For his size.
Yep. But I just liked what I know he's not a pass rusher. I said that I like pass rushers out of edge rushers. But if I can get a run stuffer, a big, heavy anchor in the middle, Tyleik Williams is definitely up there.
I agree. Very strong lower body, like you just mentioned, like an anchor. He can explode off the line in the contact. I like his great initial punch to get the blocker off. It's quick, and he just does a very good job of finding the runners and making the right tackles. Pretty decent feet quickness for his size, and he can work laterally pretty well to follow the play. Just big old mitts on this guy. I think he had 10 1/4 inch hands or something like that, and he keeps him active.
Yeah, I love how when he gets double teamed, he's not going to win. He's not trying to win, but he just kind of sets down the anchor, like you guys
Yep.
said. He just clogs the drain and takes it.
He does.
He does clog the drain.
And I love that. I mean, that's a great role to have in a defense. If you can take two guys with you and let the backers come up and make a play, then
Yeah.
that's great. Don't try to win, because then you're probably gonna throw one off and they're gonna move on. And yeah, just clog the drain, and that's what he's
Clog
great
the
at.
drain. Yeah. Colin?
I know one that would get you going, Carson. If you take Tyleek Williams, what does he drop to, like a third round projection right now?
I can check.
If he drops to the third round, in the second round you take Chris Paul Jr., a real speedy, wiry, come flying around.
Yeah.
Like Tyleek Williams is holding on to two guys, so you send Chris Paul around.
Yeah, he's 44 right now.
Oh, okay, so he'd be like a second
Second
rounder.
round.
Yeah.
Damn, so that might be tough to do, but something like that. Just like a speedy linebacker you can clear the lane for until you can go and spear tackle the ball carrier. I do like that as well. Cons,
Yeah.
if he doesn't have his bull rush, he's not going to do anything in pass rush.
Yeah.
This guy is mainly just a run defender.
Drain
And that's-
clogger.
Drain clogger, exactly. That's so much better. And also, if he can't get the bull rush working, then he has to try to do something else. The QB has literally has usually gotten rid of the ball way before he ever gets there. Like he might break off his guy, and then he's still like a good 3-4 yards away. Then the quarterback releases the ball, so he's not even close to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, strictly drain clogger.
Yep, his pad level can be kind of inconsistent too. Shorter arms, like I talked about already, just that, and he's double teams can sometimes dominate him, which these all kind of go along together. But if he can work on his hands, wait, I'm talking about the wrong guy. Am I? Wait, who am I talking about here?
Tyleek Alexander or Williams.
Yeah.
Oh, now you're talking about the wrong guy.
Oh! No, I'm talking about the right guy.
Tyleek Williams.
Yeah,
reset.
yeah, no, because I also noticed that it seems
Yeah.
like he stands up too tall at
He
times.
does.
Yeah, he does.
Like, where you have his stance, he just, like, he doesn't even get off.
He's dropping the anchor.
He doesn't have any get off.
dropping the anchor.
He's in his stance, and he just stands up.
So you want him to stand heavy like a building, but you don't
I
want
think
him to stand up.
I think he explodes out, which I'll get into my motor me. He explodes out, but it doesn't like just kind of.
doesn't go very
Yeah.
far.
Yeah, it's pretty explosive.
It's like a kind of like an airbag, like when it's just sitting there, and then
yeah,
and it's just up real quick, and it doesn't move.
yeah.
A puffer fish.
He is a
spooked.
puffer. Yeah, he sends danger. Just ooh.
Yep.
My motor meter on this guy. Cody's motor meter. Tyleek Williams. He is a small block V8 stroker. Okay.
Okay.
Great instant power. Great engine with a proven history. Okay. But put up against a big block or a forced induction setup, turbo supercharger, he's gonna come up short, just like his arms and his height.
Oh,
yeah.
dang.
Yeah, it's not even gonna be close.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just like his arm.
He's just gonna wait. He's just waiting for his wife to get home. He's stay-at-home dad. He doesn't really go out anywhere. He's just kind of waiting. And if somebody comes and burglarizes his house, he's gonna beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, you better believe.
Or he's just gonna stand behind the door, and the door won't move. He'll just sit down on the floor and just wait it out.
Wait it out.
Yeah, the
You
wife.
know yet?
The wife's got to go out. She got to get groceries. She's
Yeah,
got to
sure.
go to work because he's just sitting at home protecting the house.
Yeah.
Sure.
He'll get up off the couch real quick, but he
He
won't
will.
go,
Well, he
go
will.
get groceries.
No.
All right, moving into our number 3 consensus ranked player, Kenneth Grant out of Michigan, 6'4", 341 pounds with 33.5-inch arms. In 2024, he played 12 games. He had 32 total tackles, 18 solo, 9.4% pass rush win rate, 3 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, 27 pressures, 0 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries. Carson had him 3, I had him 5, Kean had him 2. So Kean, get us into it.
This fat guy's got some juice.
Oh boy, juicy.
Juice. And I can see why he is the overall consensus among all analysts. He's right now right there behind
Mason Graham.
Mason Graham, damn, yeah. His teammate, which is crazy. We talked about
Two
Texas
guys,
A&M
yeah.
edge rushers, how that
Yeah.
was a crazy tandem. To have these guys in the middle, that's awesome because
Yeah.
Kenneth Grant is more of the run stuffer. We'll get into Mason Graham here in a second, but just an impressive ability to make moves very quickly right off the bat. Even at 6'4", 331, 33.5-inch arms, obviously for his size is all relative, but
Yeah.
very impressive ability to make those moves. He's got that strength to rip offensive linemen to the side and create his own gaps. He forces his way into gaps with a rip, charge forward, and then a little shimmy.
A little
Makes some
shimmy.
space for himself in there. He's got the size and strength to dictate what happens on any given play. He's going to either make the offensive lineman look silly as he tears him to the side, or he'll demand a double team. Just a very good athlete for his size. Scary whenever he breaks free and gets laid to the quarterback too. He doesn't let up as he comes screaming at the quarterback. Overall, this guy, I saw him as more of an all-around player at a bigger size. Tyleik Williams, more of a drain clogger. Kenneth Grant, I think, can do a little bit of everything. It's just you got to adjust for his size. Now, overall, maybe it is a little bit diminished compared to a Mason Graham, who obviously is ranked first, but this guy is a crazy mover and just player at his size.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, he's very wide everywhere. And I noticed that, I agree with everything you said. I just noticed that it seems like he has a quick lower half and a strong upper half.
Yeah.
Like you said, he can do a little shimmy with his feet, or he can just throw you behind him with his arms. And I love that versatility. He can also clog the drain if he has to, but he's more of a guy, like you said, he's going to try to make an effort, get into the quarterback, and split a double team instead of just putting down the anchor.
Yeah, I'll get into cons because I had him lowest. I had him at my 5. He's not consistently explosive. I think you said he was kind of wide. I think he's kind of narrow in his lower body and kind of tighter than I'd like to see it.
Yeah, he's like an ice cream cone.
Yeah. Kind of narrow lower body, and for his size, I don't like to see that he can be knocked off his game, knocked off balance as easily as he can be.
Yeah, he doesn't have the anchor that Tyleik does, for sure.
Yeah, I just think he can be knocked off balance too easy for what I like to see. And just not very quick of a burst for the short area in the trenches tackles. That's why I had to have him all the way as low as I do. I mean, he's still 5, but he's being projected 2 everywhere. So
one of my cons is kind of understandable being with his size, but once he's up to his top speed, if he's in the clear, the quarterback and or ball carrier can easily just juke him out. His turning ability is not very good.
Yeah.
I mean, at 331, it's gonna be tough to move laterally in any kind of way. And he was also just part of a very talented defense that contained a lot of players who required extra attention that could have been going away from him. So, Carson, you got any cons?
No, that's really, he just seems kind of inconsistent at times to me.
all right, step into the garage. We got Cody's motor meter for this
yeah.
one. Big motor, but sometimes has his flaws. To me, this guy's a Cummins diesel. Okay, very torquey and powerful. Can sometimes fail though,
Transmission.
Sure. Yeah, blow it up. And he also lacks horsepower and speed compared to Ford. Sorry about it, I'm a Ford guy. And also when he's on that, also Cummins, they got that regen cycle. If you don't know, they have that diesel exhaust fluid, and it's got a regen cycle where it just doesn't run as good, which I think comes into his inconsistent play a little bit. It's what that kind of acts like. He's not full power all the time, full go.
You run out of def, that engine will be mad.
Yeah, very upset. Yep. All right.
Your dashboard will look like a Christmas tree.
Oh, light it up, baby. Moving into our number 2 consensus ranked defensive tackle, Derek Harmon out of Oregon. 6'4.5", 313 pounds with 34 3/8-inch arms. In 2024, he played 13 games. He has 45 total tackles, 27 solo with a 17.6% pass rush win rate. 5 sacks, 11 tackles for loss, 55 pressures, 2 forced fumbles, and 2 fumble recoveries. Kean had him 4. Carson and I both had him 2. So let's get right into why I am very impressed with this feller here. So he's just an awesome combination of length, strength, and overall size. He can play anywhere on the line, can be a drain clogger. He can clog those gaps, or he can power into the backfield. He's wide and long. He's just very powerful. He just plays with an old school tough feel, and he's got a pretty twitchy upper body. He's got a quick, powerful punch to slow down the blocker off the jump, and very good leg drive and active feet, especially for his size, so that his rush doesn't stall out. And he had very good production at Michigan State for 2 years, and then moved to Oregon. It's like, oh no, is he going to not be as good because he's going to the Big Ten? Nope, backed it up with his best year yet. And boy, last thing I'll finish up with, if he gets momentum downhill, look out, because he is not stopping.
Look out.
Yeah, I really like this guy. He is huge.
Huge.
First of all.
Yeah.
He is, his arms 34 3/8.
So long.
Almost 30. Insane. And his hands 10 3/8.
That's massive.
Guy's big all around. I don't want to. Okay. So this guy forces his way through the lineman. He doesn't go around him. and he just can't be moved laterally. If the linemen want to toss him to the side, they can't. Once he gets on his track, he's like a train. He's hard to derail, and he's just an absolute force. He can swim you. He can bull rush you. He can. In the 55 pressures this season, 55?
Yeah, 55.
Yeah, 55, it shows that. 11 tackles for loss. He's in the backfield often. And this guy is one of the true pass rushers of this defensive tackle class, more than a drain clogger, but he still can put the anchor down, grab the block, let his backers come up and make a play. He's just really versatile, and I love that.
Yep.
Yeah, once again, this is a case where the guy who's the fan of the team isn't this big of a fan of the player. I have him down at 4. You guys loved him at 2. This is a guy who, in the open field, he pursues the ball carrier like an edge. I thought he was going to weigh in more like 280 around there. Came in at 313. I was like, damn, he's moving at that size. Yeah. Very long, just like you said. He's got this slippery aspect to his game where he can push forward, just like you said, split those blockers, dip and swim past the offensive lineman. Slips off his blocks so quickly in run support too. He's probably gonna hold on to his block for a little while, and then whenever the running back comes close, he's gonna slip off real quick, make it look really easy. Yep. Very slippery. But the reason why I didn't have him ranked higher, I think at his size, 313, you kind of want him to be more of a run defender than he is. He is a solid anchor, but I think that his best is his pass rush ability, just like you guys said. He has an elite pass rush ability. I am worried. He was a good run defender at Oregon, but I'm worried about him in the NFL as a run defender because most of the run defenders, the best guys that we see in the NFL, are heavier, like at least 330. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of concerned. Maybe he doesn't have the lower body strength to hold his own against the downhill crashing offensive linemen that like the Lions have or something like that. And there are times in the run game, even in college, where he doesn't always dictate where he's being moved. There are some times where offensive linemen can get moving downhill on him. He doesn't have the anchor that Tyleik Williams does. He has a smaller anchor. It's more like he's trying to pin something smaller into the ground. And but he's got a lot of them. They're like tent stakes. He's like putting down a ton of tent stakes.
Yeah, he has like a tent stake. He doesn't have the auger type thing.
Right, yeah. So he's like holding on to it for a little while, but like they're slowly pulling out, and then he eventually falls back. But I do think that he is going to be a very good pass rusher in the league. So I'm not worried about that at all. It's just his run defense.
Yeah. As far as cons, the only thing I could come up with this guy is he can be kind of top-heavy, I think, and just not the best bend, hips, or agility in general, but he's so big that's almost expected. He's a very impressive athlete, but just not the best compared to some of the smaller guys probably, but all relative to size. He can gain advantage pretty quickly and pretty often, but sometimes he doesn't finish the play once he gains that advantage, and his play level can kind of sneak to being a little bit upright, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with it. I was a little concerned about run defending as well. That's about it.
Yeah. Motor meter?
Yeah.
Oh,
Step into the shop.
Step into the shop here. We got a motor meter for you. This guy's an old school big blower, big block with 2 massive carburetors on top. Old school and lots of power, great torque with a surprising and impressive top end, but nope, not the most efficient or refined as newer style engines. We talked about this. Do I like it? No, I don't like it a bit. But it's just the fact of the matter.
Like it.
Moving into our number 1, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Our number 1 consensus-ranked defensive tackle goes by none other than Mason Graham out of Michigan, 6'3.5", 296 pounds, 32-inch arms. In 2024, he played 12 games. He had 45 total tackles, 23 solo. He had 13.8% pass rush win rate, 3.5 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, 34 pressures, 0 forced fumbles, 0 fumble recoveries, and we all had him 1 across the board. So Carson, get us started.
Yeah, the fact that I've seen this guy be mocked to the Jags time and time again at number 5 overall as a defensive tackle is insane. This guy has a nonstop motor. He just keeps going and going. He's very quick for a D tackle, especially for his size, which is pretty decent at
296.
296.
Yeah.
He moves more like a defensive end, the position that is no more.
Yeah.
He shifts back and forth up and down the line laterally. He's very quick and strong. He forces his way. He has great hand moves. Great agility. This guy is another one that's a true pass rusher. Not as much a run stopper as you would like to see.
Right, yeah.
Because Kenneth Grant was there with him to kind of play more of that role.
Yep.
He has a great first step, a great get off, gets into the blockers, makes the move on them. He's a former wrestler, actually, which I think
Makes a lot of sense.
shows in his
Yeah,
tape.
it
I feel
does.
like he has some really good wrestling moves, hands. He's good through contact.
Leverage.
And he's really just relentless. I noticed even after the play's away from him, he continues fighting, tries to go make a play on the ball. And then even when he gets to the quarterback, he still has that twitchiness to keep up with them. He's not going to let many sacks get away from him. He can kind of throttle down. He continues to be quick laterally.
Pause.
Never mind, we're good.
Throttles down, continues to be quick laterally, and he can shadow the quarterback as he's trying to escape the pocket, bring him down.
I agree. This guy is just impressively twitchy and quick for his size. That's what stood out to me, which, yeah, including laterally in his feet. I mean, he's relentless edge to edge of the line. Just overall, just a very impressive prospect. And, yeah, you mentioned wrestler. It does show a lot, and the only thing I'll add is that he reads the play well and he reads it quick.
He does.
He's smart.
Very light and nimble on those feet, like a wrestler is. Kind of twinkle toeing around. Not
Hopping
in a
around
bad
the
way,
mat,
though.
Twinkle toeing.
Twinkle toeing. I mean, for like quick side steps, quick and choppy steps to get the offensive lineman guessing. I just from the snap of the ball, this guy is quick and he's slippery. He knows what he wants to do, and it is usually successful. It is crazy how easily he is able to like swipe off these offensive linemen, like make him look like it looks like he's just washing chalk off a board. It's just whoop.
Wax on,
Yeah,
wax off.
wax on, wax off is all he's doing, and it just looks so easy for him. And honestly, I'm okay with his size for a do-it-all defensive tackle who he is a better pass rusher, but he still has some size. He's not down at
Right.
like 280. He's at 296, so I'm okay with that. I think he'll be able to be okay in run support, but you're not drafting him for that anyways. His pass rushing is elite. Probably like he would be an amazing even edge, I feel like.
Could be, yeah.
Obviously he doesn't have that speed, but like his what is his
Movement
nuance?
ability?
Yeah, movement ability, his hand usage, nuance, is that the correct word?
You can use it.
Nuance is pretty good with his hands. But I'll get into cons. There aren't a whole lot with this guy, honestly. But as we said, he's not the type that's going to power through an offensive lineman with ease. He's much more of a fluid block shedder who can squeeze through gaps into the backfield instead of plugging up gaps with big size. And he was also another guy who is part of that talented Michigan defense who a lot of players required attention, but he was the most well-known out of all of them. So he probably required the most. There were times where he took double teams whenever they left Kenneth Grant out on a limb. But those guys were just wreaking havoc up there at all times. And Mason Graham, I feel like, was the main driver of that.
Yep, I agree. And like we said, the only thing I could pick from it was size is obviously not ideal. He's shorter and thick, and a little bit shorter arms than some of these guys in the class. But, as far as those double teams, sometimes he gets slowed up by those more than you like to see. But we talked about his power. That's not really his forte, is to be a big power guy. He's more of an all-around type of tackle.
Yeah, he shifts up and down the line a lot, and it's kind of similar to Mike Green. With these 32-inch arms, I feel like he can get dominated if he doesn't get his hands on the O-lineman first. If he lets the O-lineman get into his pads, then he's probably done because he doesn't have that weight to escape that. And, yeah, I think he is a great hand fighter, but he has to make a move first rather than letting them attack him.
Yep, agreed.
Which he does most times.
Yeah,
he's
he
really good at
Very
it. That's what he makes his money doing.
Yep. All right, step in the garage with this motor meter. Like Carson said right off the jump, this guy's got a motor that just goes and goes and goes, never stops. So that leads you right into a diesel motor. Okay, we got diesel for this. They go and go and go. This guy's a bulletproofed 6-liter Ford Power Stroke.
Oh man, it doesn't get any better than that, brother.
Because these motors, once bulletproofed, and also I keep saying motor. We all know we're talking about engines. I know a motor's not an engine. We get it.
Yeah, engine's internal combustion, motor is electric. So.
But motor meter doesn't go like engine meter does.
Yeah, no.
It's motor meter. So yeah, bulletproof 6-liter Power Stroke. Once bulletproofed, these motors are incredibly stout and tough, just like him. They hold their own. They are also incredibly responsive and torquey with instant power when you need it. But Not the biggest or baddest motor on the market, but they're one heck of a contender, you know. They don't pack the biggest punch, but one heck.
Another classic.
motor.
A staple. Staple in the diesel world.
Absolute staple.
Nice.
All right, any special shout-outs? Anyone else we want to talk about here?
Yeah, I got one guy I want to talk about.
Do it.
I can go first here. Cody actually mentioned him before the combine, just saying that he liked what he saw from him going through just the regular season before we got into scouting. But his name is Omar Norman Lott out of Tennessee.
Yeah.
Out of all the guys that we've talked about so far, our consensus top 5, which is, for the most part, that is the consensus top 5 of the draft community. Those guys in some order.
In some order,
In some order, it's those top 5 guys. But out of all of those, plus Omar Norman Lott, he had the highest pass rush win rate out of all of them. He had 18.9%. Derek Harmon was second with 17.6%. That's what Omar Norman Lott is. He is a strict pass rusher. He's 6'2", 291, 33 3/4 inch arms, just built like a pass rusher, kind of on the lighter side. And he's just very creative with his pass rushes is what I saw. I think that he can be a disruptor from the inside in the NFL. I don't think that he's going to be slowed down too much. 291 is pretty solid size. As I said, it's not 280, but it's also not 300. But he's going to be a pass rusher. He's there for speed and for finesse, and I think that he's going to be very good at that. And this is a guy, he just all neck, baby.
All neck, yeah.
His head has to, like, it tapers down to get to his head.
It does.
But he also just a very, very good season, very good pass rushing season at Tennessee, and I'm excited to see what he can do in the NFL.
That is a neck. Holy
neck.
cow. I really like this. I actually love this guy for pass rush.
Yep.
But ultimately, I felt like he was going to be a huge detriment in the run game to a team. So I had to put him at 10 because I feel like if your D tackle can't help in the run game, and honestly, I think back in the day he'd be a great D end because of how good he is at getting to the quarterback. And I just think a team has to use him in the right way. If they try to put him at D tackle, then he's going to struggle really bad, and he's going to be a burden on the defense in the run game.
Yeah, I agree. And like Ian said, I really like this guy. He's around my 8 or so, 7 or 8 or so consensus rank. Not consensus, sorry. Just my rank.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, like we talked about, and just the way that the NFL is going, it's starting to lean back into running back, I think. They're starting to lean back into that power. It's been high-flying, needing the pass rush for a while, but which he would be great at. He's still got a spot in the league for sure, but yeah, that possible run support issue is what really holds him down. Unfortunately.
That is completely fair. I just had him ranked at 5 because his pass rushing is just so
very good.
Yeah.
nuanced.
Oh,
I don't know if that's the right
I'll
word.
look it up. You guys can talk about your next guy.
no, that's all I got.
I don't really have anyone else.
Yeah.
I don't know if nuance is.
Nuanced means characterized by subtle shades of meaning or expression. What? I don't. That's not even close. to what
Okay,
I
yeah,
thought.
that's definitely not. I didn't think so.
You're using that was my.
I was letting you roll with it.
Nuanced, characterized by subtle shade. What is it? What does that mean? Subtle shades of meaning or expression.
I think it means like a little difference.
Was I thinking of seance?
Definitely not.
Seance is meeting at which people attempt to make contact with the dead, especially through the agency of a medium. What was I thinking of?
I have no idea.
Well, anyways, I'll just say one more guy who is a strictly kind of pass rusher, Shamar Turner. I had him ranked higher, but he's probably even weaker than Omar Norman Lott. Just about the same size, but a very quick pass rusher. Would be a good defensive end, but not a very good toll plugger. This guy is probably going to wash right down your drain. He's like a... He's like a hole plugger that's actually smaller than your hole, so it just like you put
slows
it in.
it down.
Yeah, you put it in your sink and it just washes right down. It's like,
It's
gone. Oops. You don't want to talk about Alfred Collins, big guy.
Me? Nah, I'm not. He really ended up as my D tackle 5. 5 because of not because of him, because of what other guys didn't have.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a weaker class outside of Mason Graham and like the top.
Yeah, I loved Mason Graham and Derek Harmon. I was telling Kean a couple of days ago that when I make my rankings, I have tiers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
You
tier.
have names for the tiers? Like tier 1 is like Screaming Eagle.
Nah, it's just 1, 2.
Well, think about it. Think about it.
Yeah, I'll think. Well,
Teams on it, maybe.
yeah, I'll think about it maybe. But I could do a golf theme. I could do like albatross, eagle, birdie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Par, bogey, double bogey.
Ooh, that'd be pretty good.
Oh,
You
nice.
suck
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah, you suck. Yeah, just don't.
Or us.
Yeah.
Us.
Yeah. Mini putt, then us.
Yeah. So Mason Graham and Derek Harmon
Yeah.
and Kenneth Grant are all in that top tier. Then after that, I feel like it's a really big drop to Walter Nolan, Collins,
Yeah.
Tyleek Williams.
I completely agree. Yeah, you got to drop down like
Yeah.
2, maybe 3 tiers.
Yeah.
I do love the size of Alfred Collins and just his physical traits. But, yeah, just not super explosive. Can be slow to shed his blocks and get to his gaps. And knee bend and pad level can get kind of sloppy or upright. And he's just obviously not the fastest. He's huge. He's a very big guy. But,
6'6", 332 with 34 and 5/8 inch arms.
yeah, very impressive, physical traits. And just he does do a lot of things well, but I talked about Mason Graham being the bulletproof Ford 6-liter in the motor meter. This guy is he's an overall physical specimen with great size and talent and pretty good versatility, but has some inconsistencies in his game, which brings me to the motor meter. He's a stockish Ford 6-liter.
Stockish.
Yeah, ish. So it's a torquey big motor. It might have some injectors and a tune on this thing, okay? So it's very impressive performance with lots of headroom to grow and get better, such as bulletproofing it or big turbo or bigger injectors or bigger tune. But with those inconsistencies, it may eat some water through the head gasket. It may pop a head stud. It may, like, that stock variable vane geometry turbo that changes the vanes in the turbo could fail.
Whoa.
It just needs an aftermarket big turbo, so it's got some room to grow. But, so that's kind of where I put him. But his size is undeniable. His physical traits.
And strong.
Yeah,
Definitely strong.
strong.
He just looks like a nice guy. I mean,
Looks like a good guy.
his combine picture, I would want to like shake his hand. He'd be like, "How are the kids doing, Carson?" I'd be like, "Oh, thanks, Big Al. They're doing
Big Al.
great." And then he's from Bastrop, Texas, so he probably is a nice
Texas
guy.
boy. Yeah, he's a Texas boy. They got that Southern hospitality.
He showed out at the combine, 26-inch vertical jump. But
wow.
He built like a tree. So.
yeah, I mean 332. I mean,
Luckily, he doesn't.
there
make
was
the jump.
some big heavy that jumped 40 inches. Who was it?
I'll find it.
I don't
I
know.
have
I
no
was
idea.
impressed.
He also, I think, Alfred Collins. He's just an absolute hoss. We talk about people setting their anchors, and he can set his anchor.
Oh, yeah.
He's massive and
Oh, yeah.
set up for double teams, and he's very impressive. But just all those inconsistencies and not being super explosive and I guess 26-inch vertical.
The closest who got to 40 was, Shamar Stewart got to 40, of course.
Oh, that must have been who else.
Landon Jackson also jumped 40 and a half inches.
Oh, that's
at
who. Yeah,
273.
yeah, I remember I saw that. I was like, the white guy? The bald white guy?
Really?
40 and a half? Yeah, I did not see that.
That is unbelievable.
Did you see Alfred Collins' combine picture?
Yeah, I did. He's so smiley.
Yeah, he's a good
He's a
guy.
nice guy.
I
Yeah.
want to ask him how his kids are doing.
Yeah.
This guy does great in the combine interviews.
I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Or his a jersey extension, too. Love that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause he's so long.
And big. It goes around his belly and down under it.
All right, anyone else?
No.
That wraps it. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. Let us know what you guys think. I mean, just like we talked about, maybe not as deep. Maybe it is. Maybe we're wrong. But, let us know. We appreciate you guys watching. Check out the Instagram and TikTok. We got them all chopped up on there, too. At Last Off Sports Talk, just like it is here. Let us know what you guys think. And we got safeties and corners.
Corners.
coming
Cody's
at you next.
position. Corners.
Oh, yeah.
Look out. And, so we will get into that next week, and we'll see you then.